Hi, teachers. I'm Victoria Carlton, and I'm just going to share a little bit with you about the writing programs we're going to use this term. For the first half of the term, for the first 5 weeks, I'm going to be learning about how to write a narrative, and I'm going to use small worlds to help to really instigate a bit of interest in the kids, get them excited. So, what that means is we're going to look into small worlds, make small worlds, imagine ourselves shrinking down into these small worlds. And this is something that kids really, really love to do. And of course, it's something that you might remember doing it as a child as well. So it's basically constructing situations where the kids can imagine that they are really tiny, that they're living in some different world and they've shrunk down and they're having a completely different sort of experience. So having a little bit of trouble with this. Here we go. So this is one of the things I've done, and this one was completely impromptu. We were actually roasting marshmallows to reward the kids for having done a lot of hard work. And as we were doing it, I was staring into the fire and I said to the kids, can you imagine if you were living inside that fire, if you're a creature of the fire, what would that be like? And the kids were looking at the bits of wood and that it looked like there was a little place that you could hide behind, all sorts of things like that. So once we'd finished eating our marshmallows, we then did some writing about being a creature in the fire and what that little creature might be doing, thinking, all of those sorts of things. Another one that I've done a few times, and it's usually a desperation one when I've run out of ideas, is I will go and get a cheap bath bomb and I'll get a tub of warm water and we will just crumble up the bath bomb and we'll put it into the warm water and then we'll watch it swirl around, spread out and change. Kids love looking at this. And I say to them, imagine that you're in a different universe. Look at the colors in there. Or imagine the sky turned that color. What would you think? What would you feel? What would that mean? So we use the bath bombs, not all the time, but it's a fairly popular one. This is obviously one that kids love because it's all about fake snow, and all kids want it to snow. Well, certainly all kids in WA anyway. And so we just get a whole lot of Dacron and a whole lot of dragons and lights and all sorts of things, and we construct with the kids, construct a small world together that we can write about. So we can go around, naming all the different things. We can even sound them out for a little bit of phonological practice. We can talk about nouns, we can talk about adjectives, we do all sorts of things with these trays. And we write sentences about them and we write little narratives about them, about what's happening in the trays as well. And the kids love standing around the trays doing this. And this one is where we were writing about light. What is light? What can you do with light? What happens when we light up a room? What's actually going on? We were doing a little bit of science as well around this. So this one was all about light. And this is one I usually do as we sort of start to come into spring. The kids all bring a little plate and we make a mini garden on that plate. So we go out and we get a bit of soil and we put some shells and maybe an electric candle, a bit of moss and some sticks and make little trees and all sorts of things. And I usually go to Temu or somewhere like that and get a whole lot of little plastic mushrooms and fairies and things. And the children put those in their trays as well. And then we look into the trays and imagine that we are really tiny and that we're in that tray as well. And we construct a narrative about being there and making up a world. Some of the kids will actually make up a name for their particular world as well. I'm very lucky that I'm married to somebody who likes making models. All right, so these models they're about this big but this wide. You can put them into your bookcase in between books, but they have a little light. After you've made them, you can just press a little light and you can sort of see into the model. And I've found that kids love looking at these. They absolutely love looking at them and pretending that they're in this small world. So this one is obviously all about being in a bookshop. It looks like a very friendly place. So we're going to be writing about being in there, shrinking right down, going into there. This is another one that's got a bit of a Japanese flavour to it. I don't know why, but I find that the kids that I teach, anything to do with trains seems to work. This one is all about springtime. We had paper flowers, we had roses from the garden, and we stuck them all over the plastic tray. We talked about what spring means. We wrote spring poems and wrote little stories where the setting was in springtime. So just by making these very, very simple small worlds and getting the kids into making them as well, it just seems to stimulate their creative thinking. And I notice that the quality of the narratives really improves as well. So I'm excited about our writing program this term, and I'm hoping the children will be too. So if you haven't tried it before, try making some small worlds. They're really, really good fun. Okay, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye.